Want to talk to you today about how do you get good involvement and ownership within your group. Sometimes you as the leader may feel that you're doing everything, and that if you were sick or if you went on vacation, that nothing would happen. Nobody would meet, and everything kind of rises and falls on whether or not you're making things happen. And you want to get away from that. And the only way you're going to be able to get away from that is if you really give people ownership, give people ways to get involved, and you might even say farm out the responsibilities of the group. And so within the group, it might be important even within the first couple of weeks or the first couple of meeting times to delineate what are the various responsibilities that need to happen in order for group to even function, in order for your group to even meet together. So typically, you're going to have somebody who's communicating with the group. That might be you, but it doesn't have to be you. You could have somebody who's maybe a great communicator in the group. You find somebody they're really good at writing emails up and being consistent and sending out regular updates and emails. And if there's somebody in your group that wants to do that, let them be the communicator. Obviously, you'll be the one needing to communicate with them sometimes, but let them be the one that gets everybody figuring out the schedule and things of that sort. It could be that you have somebody who needs to, or who would compile the prayer requests. Oftentimes within the group, people will share prayer requests, and maybe people will jot them down on a piece of paper and then they'll get lost, or maybe they'll have a binder and they might have those written down. But it might be good if the group could keep track of them. So you may have somebody who says, "Hey, I'll take care of prayer requests, and I'll put them down, on a piece of paper, and then I'll email them out to the group so that people can be regularly praying for them." It could be you have somebody who's like super with food, and they know how to put together food, or they know how to get people working together to do the food. And so you kind of say, "Hey, whenever we do a meal, or whenever we do snacks, or maybe somebody brings cookies and chips or something each time." You have somebody who says, "Hey, I'll do that. I'll organize all the food parts of what we do," whether that's once a month when we eat together, or whether that's every week when people bring little snacks here and there. I'll organize that part of it. I'll take care of all of the food, the beverages and all that stuff. It could be that your group has adopted a missionary, and you guys are regularly praying for and keeping track of one of our missionaries. Well, if that's the case, then you probably need somebody who will own that. It could be you, but again, it could be somebody in your group who says, "I love missions, and I want to be the one who's in regular contact with the missionary, and I'll bring updates to the group. I'll be in check with the missions committee. That way we can be praying for and caring for this missionary as a group." Again, you want to farm those things out and not let them just pile up, especially if your group is doing something more than just kind of the minimum. If your group has any type of outreach that they're wanting to do, if your group, again, is doing anything with missionaries, those types of things, you're gonna need to be more organized. And if you put all of that weight on you, then it kind of rises and falls on whether or not you get it accomplished. And that's a lot of weight, a lot of pressure. And so it's beneficial for you to farm out those responsibilities. So my recommendation is within the first couple of meetings, you sit down and think through what are the various responsibilities that we have and how can we farm these things out, and get volunteers. So let me give you one way you might do this. Now this might be a little over the top, but it's just a suggestion, and you don't have to do it this way. But if you think through your group, what are all the objectives? Maybe this is after your first week of talking with everybody. What are we wanting to accomplish as a group, aside from the two main purposes, which are care and the facilitation of discipleship relationships? But you think through that and you come up with almost like little job descriptions. And so you get a 3x5 card and you write down, email communicator, and you say, okay, they're going to send out an email the week of growth group on Wednesdays and remind everybody about growth group. And you kind of come up with like the job description of what each person would be doing. And then you come to your growth group with, say, 5 of those, or maybe you have 10 of them. Just depends on your group. You say, "Hey, I want to get rid of these. I don't want all of these in my lap. So who's going to be willing to, let me read through these. All right, who would do what?" And get volunteers that way. Just some suggestions. Get volunteers, get people to buy in. If they're participating, they're bringing desserts, they're communicating, they're writing down prayer requests, then that's going to help bring buy-in, and more likely your group would survive without you, and be able to be more consistent and run in a better way. So I hope that's helpful.